The year is 1917. The Russian Empire, once vast and powerful, stands on the edge of collapse. Centuries of monarchy, under the rule of the Tsars, crumble under the weight of war, hunger, and revolution. The Great War, World War I, has drained Russia of blood and spirit. Soldiers are starving, factories are silent, and the people demand change. Amid this chaos rises a storm that will tear Russia apart: the Russian Civil War. It begins with revolution, as Tsar Nicholas II is forced to abdicate in March 1917, ending more than 300 years of Romanov rule. For the first time, Russia is without a Tsar. The provisional government, led by Alexander Kerensky, tries to steer the nation toward democracy. But the people are restless. The war continues, food is scarce, and the cries for peace grow louder. In the shadows, a revolutionary named Vladimir Lenin returns from exile, carrying with him a vision that will forever change history. His message is simple yet powerful: peace, land, and bread. It is a promise to end the war, feed the hungry, and give land to the peasants. The Bolsheviks, under Lenin's leadership, ignite a movement. On the night of October 25, 1917, their forces storm the Winter Palace in Petrograd. The provisional government falls, and the Bolsheviks seize power. But victory is short-lived. Across Russia, chaos erupts. Those loyal to the old ways, the monarchists, the liberals, and foreign powers, refuse to accept Bolshevik rule. Thus begins the Russian Civil War, Red versus White. The Reds, the Bolshevik forces led by Lenin and Leon Trotsky, fight for a socialist future. The Whites, a loose alliance of monarchists, conservatives, and anti-Bolsheviks, fight to restore the old order. Russia becomes a battlefield. From the frozen tundras of Siberia to the streets of Moscow, war rages with unmatched brutality. Trotsky, commanding the Red Army, proves to be a strategic genius. He travels from front to front in his armored train, inspiring troops, enforcing discipline, and spreading the revolutionary cause. The White forces, though fierce, lack unity. They are divided by ambition and ideology. Generals like Denikin in the south, Kolchak in Siberia, and Yudenich in the west each command their own armies, but they fail to coordinate. Meanwhile, foreign powers, Britain, France, Japan, and the United States, intervene, sending troops and supplies to aid the Whites. They fear the spread of Bolshevism across Europe, yet despite their help, the tide begins to turn. The Reds, controlling the heart of Russia, have the railways, the factories, and the support of the workers and peasants. They use propaganda to rally the people, portraying themselves as defenders of the revolution against foreign invaders. But the cost is unimaginable. Villages are burned, cities destroyed, and millions die from war, famine, and disease. The Red Terror, unleashed by the Bolsheviks' secret police, the Cheka, spreads fear across the land. Anyone suspected of opposing the revolution is arrested, tortured, or executed. In 1918, in a chilling act of finality, Tsar Nicholas II and his entire family are executed in Yekaterinburg. The Romanov dynasty ends not with ceremony, but with bullets in a dark basement. The war drags on. The Whites score early victories, capturing vast territories, but internal divisions and corruption erode their strength. The Red Army, better organized and driven by ideology, begins to reclaim lost ground. By 1920, the major White strongholds collapse one by one. Kolchak is captured and executed. Denikin flees into exile. Wrangel, the last White general, holds out in Crimea until the bitter end, evacuating tens of thousands of soldiers and civilians by sea as the Red Army closes in. The Bolsheviks stand victorious. But the victory comes at a terrible price. Russia lies in ruins, its economy shattered, its people exhausted. The countryside is haunted by famine. Entire cities are reduced to rubble. The dream of freedom and equality has turned into a nightmare of repression and control. Lenin, though victorious, faces a broken nation. In 1921, he introduces the new economic policy, allowing limited private trade to rebuild the country. Yet beneath the surface, a new power struggle brews. Trotsky, the hero of the Red Army, clashes with Joseph Stalin, a quiet but ruthless organizer rising within the Communist Party. As Lenin's health declines, Stalin maneuvers behind the scenes. consolidating power and eliminating rivals. By 1922, the war officially ends with the creation of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR. The old empire of the Tsars is gone, replaced by a new kind of empire, built not on crowns and scepters, but on ideology and iron control. The Russian Civil War was not merely a battle for territory, it was a war for the soul of a nation. Over 7 million lives were lost, and the wounds it left would shape the 20th century. The echoes of that conflict still resonate, reminding the world how revolutions can devour their own children. Out of the ashes of monarchy and civil war rose the Soviet Union, a superpower that would challenge the world for decades. But at its heart lay the same question that started it all. What is freedom, and what price must a nation pay to achieve it? The Russian Civil War remains one of history, as most brutal and defining conflicts, a story of hope turned to horror, of ideology turned to tyranny, and of a people who sought change but found chaos. It was the end of an empire, the birth of a new world, and the beginning of a century shaped by revolution and power.